everyone and welcome to the Suzuki S-Cross SUV. It's essentially the replacement for the Suzuki SX4 S-Cross and promises to be a reliable, cheap-to-run family SUV with the added bonus of four-wheel drive capability.
On paper, it sounds tempting, but then you have to remember that the S-Cross is up against a huge amount of very popular rivals. There's the Kia Sportage, Nissan Qashqai and Peugeot 3008, to name a few. Plus smaller SUVs, such as the Skoda Kamiq and Ford Puma. They'll also hold appeal for many buyers.
So the question is, what can the S-Cross do that its rivals can't? And is Mr. Suzuki the most deserving recipient of your hard-earned? I'm Hope Ellen and this is another Parker's Cars review.
Before I get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you get a reminder every time we publish a new video. At the time of filming, buyers are faced with a very easy choice when it comes to choosing what engine to have in the S-Cross. The 1.4-litre mild hybrid petrol is the only one available. Yet it does come with the choice of a manual or automatic gearbox, as well as the option of four-wheel drive.
Hop into the S-Cross's cabin and you'll find something quite unusual. Whereas many cars have an eye-catching interior that will likely squeak and rattle after a few years wear and tear, this is the total opposite. The materials feel quite cheap and scratchy, but you do get the feeling that it's built to last the full onslaught of everyday family life. Won't be for everyone, but I don't mind that.
What also won't be for everyone is the old school touches, such as analogue dials in the instrument cluster and manual handbrake lever. When was the last time you saw one of those on a new SUV?
The seats are comfortable and can be adjusted to fit all shapes and sizes, but take note, there's no electric option at all.
Like the engines on offer, the S-Cross has a very simple trim structure. You either get the base motion model or the top spec Ultra variant. Both are well equipped and include adaptive cruise control, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring, keyless ignition and heated front seats.
So as you might have guessed, the infotainment system in the S-Cross is functional rather than fantastic. The entry-level motion trim gets a 7-inch touchscreen, while the top spec Ultra is 9 inches. If you want built-in sat-nav, you need the latter. Having said that, many people will just use maps available via Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and in reality, they work better than Suzuki's sat-nav system. The graphics and menu systems are nice and clear, but the responses from the touchscreen really are poor and fall well behind rival systems. A slight redeeming factor is this bank of touch-sensitive shortcut buttons underneath the screen. Space up front is strong, with plenty of head and legroom for both occupants and their possessions, which, by the way, can be stored in generously sized door pockets, a useful cubby in front of the gear lever, and a decent-sized glove box. You also get 2 cup holders and a foldable armrest as standard. Ta-da! For those over 6 foot, rear seat space might be a little disappointing, especially if you have the headroom-robbing sunroof that's standard on Ultra spec. Knee and legroom is pretty good, unless you are a middle seat passenger, because then you've got to contend with this bulky central tunnel that you usually do see on petrol and diesel powered cars. Now this is the part that I find quite handy. The rear seats recline. Okay, it's only by a little bit, but it adds a little bit more flexibility for passengers in the rear.
The S-Cross's boot is a decent size and provides 430 litres of luggage space, as well as some handy cubbies on either side. For context, that's more room than in a Skoda Kamiq, but less than a Nissan Qashqai and Ford Puma. The seats only fold in a 60-40 split rather than 40-20-40. But once down, they do sit nice and flat, enabling easy loading of longer items.
Now before we take the S-Cross out on the road, we've got a quick usability test in the form of You've guessed it, Hope's Car Olympics. So as per usual, against the clock, I've got to fold down the rear seats so they're flat, tune in the radio to Absolute FM and set the sat-nav to take me to Buckingham Palace. How quick do you think I can do it? I'm ready. So I think it's going to be the same lever, yes, same lever as you reverse the rear seats. Skipping round today. Open it up. Get this one down as well. They are all flat, lovely stuff. Jump in the driver's seat. Oh, it's a bit windy out there today. Oh, that's just sorting my hair out. I don't think that's actually going to help my time. Turn the ignition on. Infotainment, come on. Oh, nice graphic, but it's slowing me down. Can we not? Not the fastest system in the world. It's still there. Right, we're going to go on to menu. You can just see how it's not very responsive. And there are different ways that you can search for a location. I'm going to go by name because I don't know the actual street address of Buckingham Palace. If I do well and my time is good, it's not thanks to the car this time. The system tries to constantly guess what you want to do, which is a little bit helpful, but... Right, that's sorted. It's slow, isn't it? Then we're going to go on to the radio to change to Absolute. Go on here. Responsive again. Oh. Top of the list, top of the list, top of the list. There we go, right at the top of the list. Alphabetical order, thank you very much. Here's your proof. Bit of Bon Jovi to brighten your day. So how did you think that went? Because I'm quite stressed. The folding down of the rear seats, easy peasy. Loved it, not a problem. But this has caused me some grief. It's so slow at responding to you and also tries to guess what you want it to do next, which can be helpful, but it's also quite a frustrating hindrance when it gets what you want to do next wrong. I would use my phone rather than using this map. I'm going to calm myself down. Let's take this for a drive. Now, the beauty of having only a single available engine in the S-Cross is that I can give you a review of the entire range in just one drive. So here goes. The 1.4 litre turbocharged petrol engine gets hybrid assistance as standard. And while the battery pack isn't large enough to run the car only on electric power, it does complement the petrol engine well. There's plenty of oomph for motorway driving, and the hybrid assistance means it's very responsive around town. Most of the power is delivered low down in the rev range, which is a good thing because the engine can get thrashy if you rev too hard. You'll also notice road and wind noise are pronounced when you're cruising at speed, so don't expect the most peaceful drive in the S-Cross. This car gets the automatic gearbox, which does a decent job of shuffling through ratios, but if you don't mind doing it yourself, the manual alternative is a pleasure to use. Real-world fuel economy is hovering around the 43 miles per gallon mark, and we know that because this car is being run as one of Parker's long-termers. So, if you want to find out more, you can actually by visiting parkers.co.uk or clicking here.
Unsurprisingly, the S-Cross isn't set up to be sporty to drive. It has soft, squishy suspension that's designed to be comfortable and easy to drive.
On that front, the S-Cross does absorb the bumps well, but it's not as comfortable as, for example, the Skoda Kamiq. The other side of that soft suspension is an overall drive that's really rather dull. Yes, it's an SUV, but it wouldn't be hard to find one of its rivals that are more enjoyable to tool around in. Really, it's very boring. That said, the lightness of controls and the good visibility means it's a doddle to manoeuvre this thing, and the standard parking sensors and rear camera just add to that.
The Suzuki S-Cross is a cheap, generously equipped and well-built family SUV in a sector of the market packed with choice.
Okay, it's not the most fashionable car out there and the infotainment system is frustrating to use, but it's hard not to respect what the S-Cross has to offer. There's also plenty of safety features available, so you needn't feel bad about going for the budget option. If it was my money, I'd keep things nice and simple and go for the bog standard Motion model, as it offers the best value for money, which, when it comes down to it, is what this car does best.